Hey guys, welcome back to the NFL Addict. Today I will be making my 2021 Baltimore Ravens prediction, so make sure you go ahead and like and subscribe, and let's get started right away. The Ravens are a team that went into the offseason with their biggest need at wide receiver, and in free agency they did get Sammy Watkins, but the biggest addition they made was probably getting Rashad Bateman in the draft. That's going to be the biggest piece to watch. If Rashad Bateman can work out for the Ravens, then this is going to be great. But if he doesn't, then if he is a bust, then this team may kind of falter. They're not going to be terrible. Obviously, they do still have J.K. Dobbins in that running back game. And Lamar Jackson, I mean, he's a pretty good quarterback. I know he gets a lot of hate and called a running back. It's less now than it was last year, but he still does get called a running back. But they are still a very talented team, and if Rashad Bateman can, work out, they can definitely become Super Bowl contenders again as they were 2 years ago. I personally think he will work out, so just keep in mind that if Rashad Bateman doesn't work out, it's going to be more like the worst case scenario that I'm going to do here. Because, by the way, I'm going to do my predictions, and then I'm going to go back to I'm going to do worst case scenario, like if everything just goes wrong and they lose all their close games, and then I'm going to do best case scenario, and then I'll change it back to what I originally had. So starting off, they go into Las Vegas, and this could actually be a pretty good game because Las Vegas is kind of a team that always hangs around .500. So they're always a team that you never really see them get blown out, but you also see them. You also never see them blow out other teams. However, I don't like the Alex Leatherback pick. It's just another one of those classic Raiders selections where they could have gotten him in midway through the second round probably, but they chose to pick him up in the top 20 of the first round. It doesn't make any sense, and especially since they're running. I know a lot of people don't think this, but I think their offensive line was already pretty good. So I'm actually going to have the Ravens beat them here. Not just because of that, but also because there were a lot of other needs that they needed to fill and they didn't. All right, and then in week 2, they're at home against the Chiefs. The Chiefs, they fixed their only real problem, which was their offensive line. This should be actually a pretty good game. I'd be very interested to see if the Ravens can go back, because you look, and Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes have already played each other like a pretty good amount of times, and each time it's been pretty different. It'll be interesting to see if this is going to be a close one or if Kansas City is going to kick their butts. Personally, I feel like Kansas City is going to win. By how much or how little, I'll figure that out when I do my week 2 score predictions. And then in week 3, they go into Detroit. Detroit, they did get a downgrade at quarterback. However, Penei Sewell was a great pickup, and they did get they got a load of picks for the future, but that has nothing to do with this pick right here because this isn't the future. So I'm going to have the Ravens win this one. Detroit just isn't quite there yet. I feel like obviously you see I have them. Wow, look at this. It's so weird looking at all the other teams because I've just done these two, and it's weird looking at all the other teams and see like what their records are already turning out to be. And looking at this, they actually have a pretty good, first part of the season, and then once it hits week 12, then it starts picking up. You got Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Cleveland, Green Bay, the Rams, and the Steelers. So they've got to get a good start, and so far they have it 2-1. And then in week 4 they go into Denver. Denver is a team that really doesn't have much of an offense. They do have Jerry Jeudy, they do have a couple other pieces, but they lost Philip Lindsay and didn't do much to replace him. I feel like every time I talk about the Denver Broncos, Philip Lindsay ends up turning up. But we also have to talk about that secondary. That secondary with Patrick Surtain. That secondary with Justin Simmons. That secondary with... it's just so amazing what they've done with that secondary. I feel like this one could be a pretty close one. Closer than the other two I had. But I am going to still have the Ravens winning to jump up to 3-1. It's really weird to look at how good some of these divisions are, because when I do the NFC East, it's not going to be any good. But when I do NFC North, AFC North, NFC West, it's crazy how good some of these teams are. And then at 5th, Indianapolis Colts are coming into Baltimore. The Colts are, again, they're one of those teams that it all rides on how well that quarterback plays. If Carson Wentz goes out there and plays like he did a couple years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, this team could be very, very good and could, be almost, depending on how they are right now. After a couple weeks, we're basically going to know what the Colts are going to be. Because if Carson Wentz has a bad couple of games, it's fine. But if he, is up to week 5 and he still hasn't had a good game, we're gonna be kind of figuring out that they're not going to be any good. Personally, I don't think Carson Wentz is any good, so I'm going to have to give the Ravens the win here. And also, the Colts didn't get another wide receiver to pair with T.Y. Hilton, so now it's all on T.Y. Hilton. So the Ravens get the win there. And then in week 6, the Chargers go to the Ravens. The Chargers got a whole new coaching staff, did what they needed to do. However, we didn't get a good look at what they had last year. They did have, they looked pretty good. Justin Herbert, obviously, offensive rookie of the year. He was really good last year. So now, this is going to be a pretty good game because you have a really good offense and a pretty good defense going up against a really good defense and a pretty good offense. And seeing as they're on a winning streak and all momentum is in their favor, and also I do think that their offense is better than the Chargers' defense, I'm going to give Ravens the win here, their second win at home in a row, and they'll jump up to 5-1. Now they have their first divisional matchup. It's a home game against the Bengals, and I'm sorry, I just can't see the Bengals winning this one. I know I have them at 0-4, and Bengals fans are probably freaking out at me right now, but they're in a tough division, okay? I feel like the Ravens are going to get the win here. I'm still trying to figure out if I want them to sweep them or if I want it to be a split. I don't know. I'll figure that out when I get there. But right now, I'm going to have the Ravens win this one. Going into their bye week at 6-1, I'm pretty sure they're first in their division at this point. I don't remember what the other guys were at this point in week 7. But I know the Ravens are at 6-1, and they're probably doing pretty good. Then at night they have a pretty good game coming up with Minnesota going into Baltimore, coming off of a bye week. The Vikings, they're either going to be, as good as they were a couple years ago. If they figure things out, it could be great. However, also last year wasn't very good, especially at the beginning, and they didn't do much in this offseason, so I doubt that's going to happen. I feel like the Vikings are going to have another rough year, and the Ravens are going to be another part of that. I feel like the Ravens can beat the Vikings. Maybe they could keep it close, but I just don't see it happening. All right, week 10. This is going to be a pretty rough game. Maybe I should have said it started week 10 because the Dolphins, they had a pretty good offseason, and also the fact they didn't get rid of Tua Tagovailoa. I really like that. I really like the fact they didn't get rid of Tua Tagovailoa, and they also didn't get another quarterback of starting caliber. They got Jacoby Brissett, but there's no way that Jacoby Brissett is starting over Tua Tagovailoa. This is a Thursday game, really? 3 p.m. What? I don't. Thursday. I'm not even gonna argue it. Whatever. Maybe this guy Maybe this guy is more of an NFL hack than I am, and there are Thursday 3 o'clock games that I've never heard of. But Miami, they have a pretty good offense. This will be a pretty good game, and I'm actually going to have to give it to Miami here. It's just a close one, and I feel like it tips in Miami's favor. This is one that will get changed to Baltimore whenever I do my best-case scenario 100%. All right, now they go into Chicago to face the Bears, who actually, they have a pretty good shot of turning things around, but I don't really think they will. They do have Justin Fields, who I assume will definitely be starting by week 11. They do have Allen Robinson and Tariq Cohen, but that's just not enough. I don't like what their offense is at all. Their defense is they got rid of Justin Simmons and got Andy Dalton instead, and now Andy Dalton's not even going to be starting. The Ravens are going to win this one, and it's probably not even close. Now they have a stretch of 3 straight divisional games, 2 of them away. So this one will be interesting. They're 8-2. They're probably in a good spot that if they win all 3 of those games, they could basically secure the division for themselves, because they're already 1-0 in the division. If they just win these next 3 games, especially seeing as how good these guys are, and they jump themselves up to 11-2, this could be very good for them. I'm gonna have them win at home. This is a tough one, but I'm gonna have them win at home against Cleveland. I'm probably gonna have them split against both of these teams, just because. You look at Cleveland, they're probably a Super Bowl contender, but you also look at Baltimore, they're also a pretty good team, and it's a divisional matchup. And so I'm actually going to have them split with Cleveland and split with Pittsburgh, because Pittsburgh, while, yeah, they did get Najee Harris instead of an offensive lineman, they do still have a very stout defense. And, yeah, so I'm actually going to have the home team win in all of these games. So when we get up to Week 18, don't worry, I will have Baltimore beating Pittsburgh, but I'm going to keep it going. So now they're 9-4. They kind of fumbled the bag here. They lost because really it's a battle between the top 3 here. So I had them split with each other, so it's kind of even. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody else, but that makes perfect sense to me. All right, now Baltimore is at home against Green Bay, who doesn't have the best defense. So this is actually I feel like this is a pretty good matchup for the Ravens. However, just looking at how overpowered that offense is, and this is, of course, assuming that Aaron Rodgers is in there, I'm going to have to give Green Bay the win here in Baltimore. Their 3rd straight loss. So now they really have to win out. They have to win out if they want to tie with Cleveland for first, as of right now. For all we know, Cincinnati can do something crazy. I'm gonna have them sweep Cincinnati. I can't see Cincinnati beating them. So now they're 10-5. They're looking pretty good. Now they have 2 games left. A divisional game right here that I've already said I'm gonna have them win. So now all that really matters is this game right here against the Rams. And the Rams, they went out and they got themselves Deshaun Jackson, I'm pretty sure is his name, the wide receiver that was on Philadelphia. They went out and they got themselves an upgraded quarterback. I like what the Rams are doing, and I'm actually going to have them win here. And I've already said that I'm going to have Baltimore win in Week 18 because I'm going to have them split. Splits are kind of annoying because, it's kind of my way to say, like, oh, I can't figure out. These are 2 really good teams going at it, and they're in the same division. Why don't I have them split? So I'm actually going to have them go 11-6 above the Steelers. What would happen if they lost here? What would that have pulled them down to? Would that have put them below the Steelers? No? Yes, okay. I was really confused for a second there. So, yeah, this game actually has a lot on the line because this is crazy. So, if Pittsburgh wins, then not only does Pittsburgh get above Baltimore, but they're also the number 1 in the division. But if Baltimore wins, then not only are they above, basically they jump up above the Steelers, and they bump the Steelers out of the playoffs as of right now. There's obviously all these teams that I haven't even gotten to yet that'll probably change all these numbers up a whole lot. But as of right now, the Ravens are at 11-6. Now let's do worst case scenario. Now worst case scenario, obviously all these splits are going to be losses right here. Wait, what the heck? Yeah. All these splits are going to be losses. So I don't know why I picked that to be a win. Yeah, and then this Miami game, that's going to stay the same. This Colts game is going to go in the Colts' favor. That's really as bad as I can. Maybe this one, no. Yeah. Actually, I could see this one possibly going in the Chargers' favor. So yeah, 7-10 is as bad as it gets. That's the same as Cleveland. So now I will bump this back up to where it was, and let's do best case scenario. I know that wasn't a Ravens win. And then now that it's back to where it was, no, this was also a Baltimore win. Yeah, 11-6, back to where it was. That's the best case scenario. So now, best case scenario, all these games right here, they tip in Baltimore's favor. Yep. So now they're 13-4. I will also have them beating Miami, and that's it. I can't see them beating the Rams or Packers or the Chiefs. I know you could argue for the Rams, but really, it's not close enough for me to tip it in their favor. So yeah. So there, best case, worst case scenario goes from 7-10, which is the same as Cleveland, to 14-3, which is one less than Cleveland's best. So their best case scenario right now is a pretty good 14-3 record. If they do end up at 14-3, they are 100% Super Bowl contenders. No questions asked. Now bump them back down to 11-6, 4-2 in the division, just like these other 3, because I had all of them split with each other, and then I had Cincinnati lose all of their games to divisional opponents. Cincinnati's gonna be a weird one because they've already got 6 of their losses basically confirmed to all of their division opponents. I kind of wonder what they're gonna do to because they've got to play the Chiefs, they've got to play a lot of these really tough teams. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will be going to Cincinnati next for the Cincinnati record prediction. So if you're hyped for that, let me know. Please like and subscribe to the video if you